Well, good early morning, Carly. There was a special guest in the White House briefing room yesterday. You mentioned him, Vice President J.D. Vance, to explain in his words why the government is shut down right now.
The Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says the Democrats are intransigent toward their Republican colleagues and the White House.
They've lost all rationale when it comes to their hatred for President Trump. They can't see straight, they're blinded by it, and they're willing to do what used to be, in their minds, I think, really pretty crazy and stupid things. But that's the world we're now living in.
Now, the Republicans need 5 additional Democratic votes to break the deadlock and pass what the Republicans call a clean bill to reopen the government. Perhaps some good news on the horizon. Carly, both the vice president and some Democratic leaders don't think the shutdown will last very long.
Republicans tried to bully us, and it's clear they can't. They don't have the votes. The way out of this is for Republicans to finally roll up their sleeves and get to work.
We're anticipating that this shutdown issue will be resolved well in advance of our next paycheck.
Now, late last night, President Trump posting Republicans must use this opportunity of Democratic forced closure to clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud. Billions of dollars can be saved. Make America great again. Perhaps on cue, the White House is now freezing $18 billion in funding for 2 big transportation projects in New York, Chuck Schumer's home state, and yours, Carly, the Hudson Tunnel Project and 2nd Avenue Subway Extension. OMB Director Russ Vought says those projects are on hold to ensure the funding is not going toward DEI initiatives.
This is how your Netflix movies are made. The creamy poop of a mystic unicorn. Totally clean, totally cool, and soft served straight from a sphincter. They're good at pooping.
I love that meme, Jerry. Okay, Jerry, before we describe where we are and what we're doing this morning, and we're very excited about all of it, we're thrilled to be here in New York City. As you can tell, these are live shots directly out the windows of the building that I'm in right now. This is how it works. This is how close we are to the Statue of Liberty. So in one window, we are flying over the Statue of Liberty. In the other window, we are looking at the Freedom Tower. And we are live from downtown Manhattan, inside of Fox News headquarters. Our friends at Fox, we were here to say hi to some people, and they were kind enough to furnish us with a studio, and we are thankful to them. And so we are here live from Fox News. We have the roaring cheers. We made it work. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an amazing morning. There are so many reasons why, but that meme. You remember the Squatty Potty meme? That's the Squatty Potty meme. It's like a commercial for the Squatty Potty. Do you remember this? Jerry, do you know that the guy who actually made that original commercial reached out to me last night? Because of that meme, we use that meme in one of our videos. And he said he loved it. And he thanked us for using it. So, Jerry, this is meme inception, Jerry. Jerry, you are changing the world. The memes have now become our dreams. And we are excited about it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, live from New York, it's The Benny Show. Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 is this morning, and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are canceling Netflix as the woke company is losing billions, and for very good reason. Meme wars continue, and the Democrats are losing. Democrats lose every single war, and this one is an absolute and total annihilation. We're going to go through the battlefield of memes that are being used in order to fight the government shutdown. We have been built for this moment. This show has long loved memes, long before anybody in the administration or in federal government even knew how to spell meme, kept pronouncing it meme. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now this is our moment. This is our golden moment that we will spend with Senator Mike Lee and with Congressman Tim Burchett. We'll be on the show, so get your dadgum memes ready. Get your dadgum emojis ready. I want to see dadgum Tim Burchett emojis flooding the chat. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Make sure that you are as golden as the golden sun rising over New York City behind me. Go gold with my friends at Advantage Gold. Advantage Gold can make sure that you are set up for life, just like me. What do I mean by that? What I mean is I just diversified a little bit into precious metals. I did so, and it's overperformed literally everything inside of my portfolio. And it's done great. And you can see it. You can see how gold's done. You can see how silver's done. And this is just what happens in times of up and down economy. Little rocky times, little uncertainty. And ladies and gentlemen, precious metals is going to rocket. If they cut rates, it's going to rocket even higher, and you should get ready to lock in. You can change and flip your IRA, 401k, or TSP into physical gold and silver right now, legally and penalty free. Don't wait. Don't roll the dice. Text Benny to 85545 right now. Claim your free 2025 gold and silver report. Text Benny to 85545 right now and get $10,000 in free silver bonuses. That's Benny to 85545 today. Okay. Jerry, I'm checking the chat. I'm telling you, dude, the guy who made that ad reached out to me. I'll connect you with him. The dude who made the ad, can you load it as a play-beside? Can you load that meme as a play-beside? You remember the Squatty Potty? It was like a famous ad, and it had a unicorn with a soft serve ice cream machine. It was the opening meme. Anyway, I'm telling you, Jerry, this is we're entering a very special time. Klein and ALX and I had a chat yesterday. There's just a lot of eyeballs on and a lot of energy in this space right now, and we're going to grab that energy. We're gonna rock and roll. This is gonna lead directly into our opening conversation here about Netflix. So why not? Why not just pop them? You can just do it as a play beside, or do it as a either way. Yeah, there you go.
Sick unicorn. This is how your Netflix movies are made. The creamy poop of a mystic unicorn. Totally clean, totally cool, and soft served straight from a sphincter.
There you go. That dude reached out to me and said he loved it. Said he loved it. Said it had him howling. Jerry. Okay, so this is what has me howling. Let's talk about this. Because what's happening right now with Netflix is not like your average left-right, red-blue, communist versus capitalism culture war thing. It's not. It's like so much worse than that. It is something that at its most basic level questions the morality of the culture that you live in. It is something that is critical to our nation and to its future. Because nations that allow for the sexualization of children don't last. And those kind of societies collapse. And that's been proven throughout all time. And our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ says, do not harm these little kids. If you harm this little kid, it'd be better for a giant rock to be tied around your neck and you just be thrown into the ocean. That's going to be a better thing for you to happen than for you to harm a hair on one of these children. And this is why this Netflix issue has blown up. And this is beyond red and blue. This is beyond Democrats using Netflix as a propaganda arm to say like, hey, you should believe in global warming. Or, hey, you should believe in open borders. Or, hey, you should vote for the Democrat Party. Those are all still things that are bad, and we shouldn't suffer them. You shouldn't be using children's entertainment to propagandize. I think it's been going on for a very long time, but nonetheless, that should never happen. That is still indefensible if they were doing that. But they're not doing that, although they probably are doing that in many different forms. They're doing it in a way that is the worst conceivable possible level of propaganda. They're going so many layers below, like, let me try to make little Democrats. They're going to the very core, the very fabric of who our children are. They are attempting to manipulate in a sexually grotesque, explicit, and utterly illicit way our children. And this is not hyperbole. This is something that we can prove. And we can prove it not just in one circumstance, we can prove it in dozens of circumstances. We have a supercut here of Netflix inserting into children's shows radical gender ideology. Now, radical gender ideology is something that is like a naughty topic to talk about if you're adults. Like, it's not a polite topic to talk about. It's so extreme and makes your skin crawl so very much that it's something that like wouldn't be allowed at like a dinner table with a bunch of adults at 9 p.m. at night, right? It's like the last thing that you want to bring up and talk about. This is an extreme conversation in politics This is an extreme conversation in any era of society, any area of society, okay? So to insert it into children's programming, to insert gender ideology, trans confusion, pronouns, non-binary, is overtly sexualizing children. Of course, anybody who has little children knows that they are utterly and totally innocent of these things. This is the way God designed them. God designed them to be innocent. That children are entirely pure as God created them. Obviously, they grow up at some point, right? But if you're talking about like little kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have kids all those ages. They are like explicitly pure and innocent. Netflix is taking the content that is made for 1, 2, 3, and 4-year-olds and explicitly inserting sexualized material. Now, it would be inappropriate for somebody to insert it doesn't matter if it was like gay or straight or trans, like all of it's inappropriate. The fact that it is the most radical, like, of course, I would also be against them, inserting pornography or inserting, some type of like, sexual jokes if they were straight sexual jokes. But what they're doing is taking the sexual spectrum on the most radical conceivable spectrum level and then shoving it into show after show after show after show. None of it is defensible. It is an actual moral question. It's not a political question now. It's a moral question. It should actually be illegal. These shows should be rated, NC-17 because they include direct, explicit sexual conversations because that's what you were talking about when you're talking about non-binary, who you're attracted to, what your pronouns are, what your gender is. Like it is an explicitly sexual conversation. So you just have to frame this up. Elon Musk shared, I was walking to a dinner last night. I flew up here after the show. I was walking to dinner last night and Elon Musk shared this video where like we had this same conversation. Elon Musk is leading the charge here for obvious reasons. You can go check in on like Elon's family. Do you have the tweet? Please put it up. Elon Musk said 100%, we said this exact thing. Now, Elon Musk has been leading the charge for everyone to cancel Netflix because of this. But what we did was we just distilled down in like a very quick conversation. Again, it's the worst thing you can possibly do. So are you a Christian? Do you believe in Jesus? Jesus says this is the worst thing you can possibly do to your child. That's what Christ says. He says, harm these little kids, confuse these little kids, sexualize and degenerate these little kids, and you will have a giant. It's better if you just take a huge rock and throw yourself in the middle of the ocean. Just jump off the ship. Are you somebody who doesn't share my faith in Christianity? Okay, fine. If you consider yourself even a remotely moral person, then you know in your bones, it's hard-coded into your bones, into your person, into who you are. It's hard-coded that doing this to children is wrong. It's something that is grotesque. Secular societies have extreme laws, obviously, against this in every single society, except for, of course, some of the most, backwards and degenerate and caveman societies, right? Like Afghanistan's a good example of this, but don't look too far into what happens in Afghanistan, right? There are societies, where these practices were pseudo-pederast or pederast practices are still allowed, and it's of course grotesque, and of course those are some of the most backwards stone caveman societies on earth. No, this is not what a moral people does. And so for Netflix, which is one of the largest streamers on earth, that does all these deals with Barack Obama, that every single member of their board are these like Charlie Kirk hating, there's example after example after example of like Netflix employees or showrunners or executive directors who are like talking about how Charlie Kirk doesn't deserve to be honored, how Charlie Kirk is Hitler, and so on. This is the same company that, remember, they protested their own special with Dave Chappelle? Anyway, it's a massive company. It's a successful company. And it does not deserve your dollars. You must cancel Netflix. So rant over. Appreciate you letting me set the table here for just how indefensible this is. Yes, it's just not red or blue. It is morally indefensible. Morally indefensible what Netflix is doing. Okay, here are just some examples. This is certainly not all. Here are some examples of how Netflix is taking children's shows and even making the cows trans. I kid you not. Here we go.
Everything okay, Fred? Well, the last time I saw my grandma, I used a different name and pronouns. Well, that was before I discovered that Fred feels more like me.
Cherry Chip reporting from the wedding of the
Wait,
year.
pause.
Instructor said.
Pause. Go back. I'm sorry. This is going to take us like 20 minutes. This is a cow. Netflix has trans the cows. Do you understand where we are here? Netflix is trying to milk a bull. Netflix says, go milk the bull. This is what Netflix is doing. Grab me that amazing Carrie Lake clip where she asked that same question. Netflix is doing the meme right now. They did the meme. The meme is try to go milk a bull. Like a farmer will tell you that there are two genders, and it's pretty obvious on a cow. Pretty obvious in cow world. It's about as obvious as you can get. So this is like Netflix is literally doing Netflix is doing the meme here. Go back and play. Just go back and play it again. I want you to know exactly how steeped this organization is in this radical sexualized ideology. They're literally taking a cow and saying they're transing the cows. Trans cow. Chocolate milk. Jerry, there's some kind of fun joke in there. They've done it. Okay, here we go. Yes, this is the Carrie Lake clip. Okay, dude, load this up. Sorry, we're going to jump around here for just a second, but you got to load up Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake had this amazing moment at the Iowa State Fair where she's milking a cow. And she turns to the reporters and goes, farmers will tell you that you can't milk a bull. You should try it, though, New York Times. Watch.
Which one of you's from the New York Times? You know there's only two genders, right? There's only two genders, and they know that in Iowa. I challenge the New York Times reporter and the Washington Post reporter to try to milk a cow and then try to milk a bull and see how that goes.
And the reporter's like, I've milked a cow before. Okay. Netflix has done the meme. They did the meme. This is how absurd this company has gotten. Okay, all right. Rant over. Here we go. Let's continue.
Everything okay, Fred? Well, the last time I saw my grandma, I used a different name and pronouns. Well, that was before I discovered that Fred feels more like me.
Cherry Chip reporting from the wedding of the year. Everyone's favorite karate instructor, Sensei Dave, will be marrying mixed martial arts champion Jiu-Jitsu Joe.
He's the undisputed champion of my heart.
Of course. Morgan, can you switch?
Nightshades pronouns are they, them.
He or she just doesn't fit who I am. My apologies. Please switch their
Pause. They literally used the Transformers show. The jokes write themselves. The jokes write themselves. They're using the... Okay. I mean, does Netflix, like, is Netflix inviting, like, do they want this? Do they want this controversy? They're using the Transformers show to have a pronoun conversation about they, them. Okay, continue.
Place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not.
That's true, though disappointing.
Hey, it's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
People who aren't female or male. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
I always knew my pronouns felt right, but what a wonderful word for a wonderful experience.
Stop. Just stop. 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 It's a robot. They're Transformers. They're not humans. They're robots. Netflix is transing the robots and the cows. And here are two dads who are making their little boy dress up in a tutu and dance for them. Here we go.
Know about you, you love to get up and dance. How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans? If you're not sure what to choose, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me?
Yep. When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me.
This is actually not the message that kids need to hear. Kids don't need to hear just be me. Like, and do anything you want to do. Like, do you understand what kind of a world what kind of realistic, nightmarish, collapsed society that you will have if everybody just did those things? If there were no standards whatsoever, if there were no boundaries whatsoever, if there's no acknowledgement of genetics, there's no acknowledgement of XY chromosomes. Have you ever had kids? Like, that's what's amazing, is that these kind of shows are created, and we know this actually, by people who don't have children in order to poison the minds of people who do have children, who just leave Netflix sort of like on repeat. And that's the goal here. The goal is to sneak it in. This is why you must cancel Netflix. The goal is to sneak it in, because what a lot of parents do, and I don't endorse this, and I hope that you don't do this. If you do, you should stop it, is just let Netflix play in the background, because my gosh, I got to get my taxes done right, like, and just let the kids like veg out and just let the thing autoplay. And then Netflix autoplays this and your kids absorb it like a sponge. And then they're getting this propaganda. Of course, you don't want them to have this propaganda, but it gets sneaked in there. Gets snuck in there. Here's another example. This is the one that like sort of kicked off the entire cancel Netflix operation. Dead End Paranormal Park. One of the characters said, for like out of the blue, for just no reason, is like, I'm trans. This is like, has nothing to do with the plot, has nothing to do with like the show itself. The show is created, by the way, by somebody who called Charlie Kirk Hitler after learning about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Let's go.
It's not the park. It's me. I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney, and I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier. And that's saying something when I spent today chased by terrifying zombie mascots. Pugsley reminded me how important it is to live your life without apology. So I think I gotta give living here a shot, don't you?
You don't need my permission. I just wouldn't want Courtney as a roommate.
We'll be the best of friends.
I mean, I guess they're accurate that like you'll just go live with the demons. if you choose this lifestyle. Thank you, Netflix, actually, for being wildly accurate there. Okay, so kids do need to understand the world around them. It is up to adults to set the boundaries of the world around them. It is up to adults to say this is right and this is wrong. My 2-year-old boy, his name's Theo. There was a dinosaur exhibit at the zoo. We go to the zoo, and he sees the velociraptor, and he wants to be a velociraptor. And then he becomes a velociraptor for a day. That is what he does. He rawr, and he roars at me. Okay? He's a great kid. Does that mean that he's a velociraptor? Do I have to affirm that now? These are the rules, right? I mean, according to Netflix, according to the two dads and their little boy dancing for them in a tutu on Netflix, it is my obligation as a parent to now make my son a velociraptor. That's what these two dads would do, because that's what this song is. You go do and be anything you want. Whatever feels right, you just go do it. Whatever feels good, you just go do it. Okay? There are no rules. There are no standards. There are no boundaries. There is no such thing as society. It's all nihilism. It's all about you. The entire world is here to gratify you and your every desire. And you are here to serve no other purpose than to become totally and completely self-inflated and self-infatuated and collapse in on yourself like a star nebula, because every single thing in the world has to be fixated around you and your mood at the time. Like the cow that says, it just feels better. It just feels better now. Last time I saw my grandmother, I used a different name and pronouns. It's like, now it just feels right. It's actually the way that it's the way that you destroy a kid's life, is teaching them that. Having kids, and I do not have old kids. My oldest kid is 5 years old. My wife says now she wants to have more kids. Actually, I didn't know that this would be what we would talk about this morning, but lo and behold, last night my wife goes and sends out a banger that says, let's cancel Netflix and have a 5th kid. Well, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, having read this, I'm going to have to leave the studio now and head right back to Tampa. Okay, see you. See ya! I'm out! Be back soon. Yeah. This is actually how you destroy Netflix. This is how you destroy this culture. The amazing thing about this culture is it's parasitic, right? As you look at some of the slobs, some of the activists at Netflix, I'm sure we have some photos of some of the people that are making these shows. They're all alphabet activists, and every single one of them, none of them have children of their own, right? By choice. And because it is a parasitic, not only mindset, but worldview, right? You're not procreating. They have to infect the minds of our children. It is the only way for the parasite to continue. This is the only way for the woke mind virus to spawn. They have to take our children from us. They do not have either the physical ability or desire to have children of their own. And so they must take our children. And so this is why you must protect against this. Elon Musk has 1 million kids, right? This is the way to actually fight our cultural war and win. Because the woke mind virus dies out without any hosts. And if you're not procreating, and we know this, by the way, we have, hey, Alex, can you grab me some of that recent data about right versus left, red versus blue, family creation? We are literally outbreeding the left, okay? And this is why, when my wife puts up, let me read the tweet, Klein. When my wife puts up, hey, Benny Johnson, I canceled our Netflix account. Maybe we should just consider baby number 5 to occupy our time. Boom. See ya. See ya. Can you scroll down? This is one tweet. My response was I responded in meme form, which is the only appropriate way to respond to this. There you go. This is yeah. Yep. We run fast. What's a good Forrest Gump line to use in this scenario, Klein? I know you would know, Klein. What's the correct Forrest Gump line to use here? What is it? I'm looking at the chat here. One of the producers has to know a good Forrest Gump line to use in this. Mama said, "These is my magic shoes." It's been such a long time since I watched Forrest Gump. It's a great movie. I have nothing. This is a good movie. Obviously, Jenny is the arch villain of the movie. Jenny is probably the most evil character ever written in all of Hollywood history. But man, I got to tell you, that is the way. This is how we defeat them. Like, and it's never been easier to win the culture war, ever. It's never been easier. We're the ones having all the kids, so you just must protect your children. Do your level-headed best to get them wooden blocks to play with instead of iPads. Like, take them outside instead of putting them in front of the TV. I know it is a lot of work. It is an excruciating amount of work for me. It looks like ALX is grabbing some data about, that's a good one. Priorities in life. Let's look at this. I'm just saying, like, let me finish my thought. I'm just saying, like, if you wish to actually save your nation, the number one way you can do it is fall in love, get married, have 1 million kids, raise them with your values. Do not let culture or Netflix raise them. Do not let these pagans raise your children, please. I beg of you. It is actually it is an immorality to do that. And then I'm telling you, we will win. Like, the next generation will be saved. We will win. I can show it to you. I can prove it. In fact, here's 2 studies. American voters under the age of 30 were asked which 3 life priorities they considered the most important. Here's how having children ranked. Among male Trump voters, number 1. Number 1. Among female Trump voters, number 6. Okay, fine. Gotta pump those numbers up. Among male Kamala voters, number 10, and female Kamala voters, number 12. It ranked dead last for cat lady feminists. Dead last. Which of the following is important for your personal definition of success? Having children is the number 1 for male Trump voters. Can I get a witness? Can I get a cheer for the male Trump voters? Let's freaking... All right. I know. We got to move. We got a bunch of stuff. There's one more. Here we go. From the Institute for Family Studies. Trump bump the Republican fertility advantage in 2024. Whoa. What is this? Look at that. Total fertility rate by county in the U.S. presidential elections is by county. Now, a reminder that President Trump won 90% of the counties in America. It's one of my favorite statistics. Total fertility rate by county. Look at red counties. Look at blue counties. This is what, this is what happens when you run a party based on voluntary castration and pumping plastics and seed oils as hard as you possibly can into your balls. That is what it looks like. And then the opposite, on the opposite side of that ledger, is what it looks like when you run a party on red meat and bourbon and cigars. Yep. There it is. This is your breakdown. Man, what a bright future we will have if we simply embrace this. Can we pop up that homie that I met at the airport yesterday? I just want to show you guys like something neat. And, we were waiting for a flight to come up here. And this young man comes up to me, and so I'm like, I'm just standing there waiting for my flight. And this happens at the airport a lot. This happens with TSA all the time, where like dudes who work for TSA like come up and like fist bump me and say that they're subscribers. And it's like TSA is like incredibly based because a lot of TSA is actually a ton of veterans and veteran law enforcement. So just like do your best to be nice to TSA, right? But TSA and pilots, actually the pilots of the airline, like pilots love Charlie Kirk. They love, like, as soon as we got off the plane in New York, actually, the guys that were there, like the workers in New York, not this one, boys, the other one. The gentleman with the beard. There it is. Yeah. As soon as we got off the plane in New York, the guys who do the bags, that are down at the end of the, there we go. The guys who are down there to, like, with the wheelchairs or like the strollers, like carry the bags. Like those guys are like, yo, like, we love Charlie Kirk. We just love what you guys are doing. It's like amazing. It was such like an uplifting trip. It's been such an uplifting trip to New York. So I run into this dude. This dude comes up to me. His name's CJ. He lives in Nashville. Shout out CJ in Nashville. He comes up to me at the airport. He's like, yo, can I get a selfie? And I was like, absolutely. But I want to ask you a question, man. You're a young guy. You going to have a family? You going to get married? You going to start a family? And this is what he told me. Listen to this.
Don't you just love going to the airport and seeing the strength of Trump supporters? Look at that shirt. Look at JC from Nashville.
JC.
Look at that. Standing strong, and he remembers Charlie, right? Yeah, that's right. Former Marine, absolute patriot. And he tells me he's going to get married and have kids.
Of course, have to. You live strong in your faith, you walk by Christ, just as Charlie said.
That's right, man. Everywhere you go, the effect of Charlie Kirk, everywhere. It's uplifting. God's doing wonders.
This kid comes up to me, and there's more to share than in just this like 10-second clip. This kid comes up to me and he says, I was purposeless in life. I was like drunk every single day. I was an alcoholic, chain smoker, and just raised in the country and just had no purpose. And I started locking in with Charlie's content. I started locking in with some of you guys' content. And I decided to like just find purpose. So I joined the Marines. Then after joining the Marines, I like started reading my Bible a lot. Got into a Marines Bible study. Then I found my bride to be. I'm getting married. His bride was there with him. His fiance was there with him. I'm getting married now. And I was like, "You're gonna have kids?" He's like, "I'm gonna have millions of kids." Like, yes. This is actually how we win. This is how, if we multiply that times 1 million Americans, then what happens? He has 4 kids. That's 4 million more Americans. That's 50 million more Americans. That's 100 million more Americans that believe what we believe. That's like cultural conquest. That's how we win. The other side is castrating themselves voluntarily. And this guy comes up, and that's the story that he tells me. It's like the most uplifting thing. And he goes, I'm just a little, she's like, I'm just a little nervous, I'm going to be a dad. That's like the big thing. His wife, his soon-to-be wife is standing there. She's beaming. Beautiful, like beautiful couple. And I look at him, I was just like, if you want to unlock all of your potential in your life, if you wish to unlock what it means to really be a man, if you want to go deep into your DNA, back 1,000 years, through every single DNA strand in your lineage, back to the oldest man in your family tree, whatever he was, some Klansman, right, from the Great White North, it's like, giant, carrying a giant stick, battle axe, whatever. You want to go back to that warrior clan, that tribe. If you want to get back to the energy that it took to get you here, to unlock your true alpha potential, there is only one way to do it. It's not making a bag on Wall Street. It's not getting a nice watch. It's not getting a nice car. Okay, and it sure as hell ain't like subscribing to a lot of people on OnlyFans. It's actually getting a beautiful trad wife, locking it down, getting married, having kids, and you hold those children for the first time, and you will unlock all of your masculine potential. You will instantly feel like you must protect your family, like you've got to go out and you've got to you got to be like a wall. You got to be a Hadrian's wall, like against the world for your family, and you must protect them. And you have to throw down for your children. And you will like instantly cancel your Netflix. It will make perfect sense to you. You will say there is nothing more important than my children and growing old with them, and then my grandchildren, and maybe my great-grandchildren if you're truly blessed. And so that is what I told that guy. That's great, man. Just exciting things are happening. I know that we're rambling here a little bit, but it's something that I really care about because I live it every single day. Let's look at Netflix's stock right now. Let's look at Netflix's stock is collapsing, guys. Look at that. That's today. Holy moly. Look at this. I mean, again, this is a monster stock. All right. And this is now down 30 points. Holy smoke. Go to the 5-day, please. Here. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. That's our power. That's true power right there. That's true cultural power. Libs tried to boycott ABC. Like, what a joke. Like, nothing even happened. I think the stock actually went up. Look at that. What a nightmare for Netflix. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have explained enough about this. I just want to let you know that there are thousands and thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people that are canceling their Netflix. Please put up that Libs of TikTok post right there, and that'll be our last one in the block here. There it is. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yeah, we saw it go down in real time. That's exactly right. Man. Okay. Maybe Netflix is going to need some American financing. I don't know. Netflix looks like they're going to be in financial trouble, hopefully for a very long time, because they deserve it, ladies and gentlemen. American financing helps our viewers, our listeners, get out of the crisis of spiraling debt. When you have credit card debt, it can bankrupt your life. It can be a massive hindrance to you getting ahead because it just becomes impossible at 20 and 30% interest rates that should be illegal as far as I'm concerned. But nonetheless, this is modern day slavery. Don't be in modern day slavery. Get out of that debt today. American Financing can help you out. They can unlock the equity in your home to pay off that high interest debt. They can save you money right now. They're saving their customers money today. And, ladies and gentlemen, at an average of $800 a month, really giving you an opportunity to get some breathing room. Call American Financing today at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. All right. So we have some producer chats being like, well, how do you buy the dip if it just keeps dipping? Yeah. If I find out that anyone's buying Netflix on this show, I got to tell you guys. Okay. Don't you dare. None of my business. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. You have the richest man in the world betting against Netflix. Yeah. They're going to have to do something. Netflix is going to have to do it. They're going to have to do something. This has become too culturally compelling. My wife is talking about having 5 kids now. Yes. Thank you, Netflix. Thanks, Netflix. Like, it's amazing. This is a fantastic. Oh, look at that. You got to post. You got to put this one more up. Look at this. This is why you must cancel your Netflix. 100% donations in favor of Democrats. Look at this chart. This is the last chart, and then we'll move on. 100% in favor of Democrats. Look at this. These are the donations. Election contributions based on company. You see, Google's pretty lopsided, obviously. NewsWeb is 100% in favor of Democrats. Netflix, 100% in favor of Democrats. 100% of their donations go to the Democrat Party. Why would Republicans ever own or subscribe to this service? By the way, it's insanely expensive. What is it, like $20 a month now? What did Netflix used to be like $5 a month? Now it's like, yeah, don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Don't bet against Elon. Don't bet against Elon. Ladies and gentlemen, White House. Don't bet against the White House, especially in a meme war. Libs are doing one of the most reckless things I've ever seen. And if you're talking about a meme war, then why would you wage nuclear meme war against the largest arsenal of memes in human history, which is, of course, the White House and Team Trump? It is a bad idea. It's a very, very bad idea, and Democrats are playing a very dangerous game here. Now, yesterday we talked about this and we thought it was really funny. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's not funny anymore. It's becoming extremely depressing. Do we have the Democrat memes? Where are the Democrat memes? Okay. I want to line up the Democrat memes. Do we have like the little kitty meme? So we played you the sombrero memes. These are like the fun, like I want to show you like the differing meme wars here because, boy, it is brutal to watch. We have two very, very different meme strategies here. One is working and one is not. Republicans are placing sombreros on every single Democrat. That's the Republican strategy, among other things. We'll get into the other things. Republican meme strategy is let's place sombreros on every Democrat. They're playing it on loop, by the way. The sombrero memes inside of the White House press briefing room. Do we have sombrero meme number 1 and 2? Yes. Do we? Let me know, producers. Yeah, okay, guys. Good. The Democrats are trying to respond to the sombrero meme. So what happens is every time that Democrats try and do anything, we put a sombrero on them. The reason why is because Democrats are shutting down the government in order to fill the coffers of criminal aliens with lavish benefits from the American taxpayer. That would be free healthcare. And so here, ladies and gentlemen, is sombrero meme number 1. We're just going to go through the anthology here because it's incredibly important to show you the ratcheting up of the meme war. So here we go. Sombrero meme number 1.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
Okay, sombrero meme number 2, please. Let's go.
Disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Okay, so adding a sombrero to any lib that is having a meltdown is my new favorite meme template. And Democrats don't know how to respond. I can prove that. This is the official response of the Democrat Party. This was posted by the Democrat Party handle. I think it has millions of followers. But anyway, it was the official handle of the DNC. This is their official response. First off, they're doing like kitty AI memes, which I think you'd have to go back. Like, Jerry, how old would this be? Like using like little cats to tell your story. Like this is like a meme template of like a decade ago. So they're not using recent memes. Their stuff is just not fresh. It's not sharp. It's not clean. It's really sloppy. Check this out.
Republican and Democrat kitties cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kitties want you to have health care. Republican kitties do not. Republican kitties control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires. Democrat kitty tries to negotiate, but Republican kitty keeps running away. He has a vacation to get to. Uh-oh, suddenly the money you pay for your health insurance has tripled. Thanks, Republicans.
These are, Jerry, how old are these memes? This is like the left. I mean, this is like a masterclass in the left cam meme. You're talking like 20-year-old memes here. Like, this has appealed to absolutely nobody. That meme got completely ratioed. Even the GOP dunked on Democrats, posting. They posted. They just added the sombrero to the cat. So, okay, they quote tweeted it. They ratioed the Democrat account. Right. So here we go. So this is the Democrat account. They ratioed it. That got 3,000 reposts, and 40,000 likes. The original tweet got what? 17,000? Yeah. Okay. So they get completely so the GOP trolling Democrats by making one of the kiddies an illegal alien. They got ratio. Here's the other version of whatever memes they get. And it took them days, by the way, to come up with this. It took them days to come up with these memes. Okay, so they added like little minion overalls to JD Vance. Here we go.
If you're flying today, I hope, of course, you arrive safely and on time, but you may not arrive on time because the TSA and the air traffic controllers are not getting paid today. Our military is not getting paid today, starting today, and obviously the longer this drags on, the worse that it is for the American people.
Got it. Okay, fantastic. Like this is like if my 2-year-old, like my 3-year-old actually really likes the Minions. They would love to make like Minion, like they would like to make everything into a Minion. So well done. You've outsourced to my 3-year-old your meme strategy. White House meme strategy. Here we go. Schumer hot dog. We got all try to find the guy who did this. It works perfectly. You know that these memes are working because CNN is having a meltdown about it. CNN is losing their minds because the White House changed their voicemail. So call White House right now. You get Caroline Leavitt in the voicemail. Here we go.
Call it.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line.
Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government because they care more about funding health care for illegal immigrants than they care about serving you, the American people. Until Democrats vote for the clean, Republican-backed continuing resolution to reopen the government, the White House is unable to answer your call or respond to your questions. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And in the meantime, please know President Trump will never stop fighting for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, get out your salt shakers here, and we'll have Senator Mike Lee joining us in just a moment to respond to this meme warfare. Senator Mike Lee, obviously, a very good meme warrior, something that I wasn't planning on ever saying on this program, but it's true, and we can prove it, actually. Also fresh off of a turning point, a massive turning point rally in Utah, and we look forward to talking with him about this. But before that, we must salt a lid, since we are on the topic, and we haven't done a good salting in a while. And so please, ladies and gentlemen, get your salt shakers out for CNN. Caitlin Collins, who is triggered by the White House's memes, and see if you can distinguish whether this is Caitlin Collins or Scott Pressler. The toughest job in all media, actually. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Salt that lid.
For Vice President Vance, not just defending that AI racist video of Minority Leader Jeffries wearing a sombrero, but also like celebrating that video. And it was playing on a loop in the briefing room today. What are you hearing from the inside about that?
It was not only just playing on a loop in the briefing room. If you've never been in the press briefing room, for those who haven't, there are loudspeakers overhead so you can hear announcements or what's being said, or if there's an event going on with the president in the Rose Garden, for example. They were playing that mariachi music as well over the loudspeakers for all the press that was coming in and out of the White House today inside the press briefing room. It just kind of gives you a window, John, into how they're dealing with this and how they believe they have the upper hand when it comes to the messaging here, and also kind of how things have changed from the first time Donald Trump was in office. I mean, there was a shutdown then. I remember all 35 days of it. As the president said at the beginning, he'd be proud to shut the government down, and then it ended, obviously, with him not getting the money for his border wall. This time, you know, there's a moment here. They're being heavily criticized over these posts by the president, by Democrats, and instead of backing off or apologizing for it, they're leaning into it, and they're playing the music over loudspeakers and on repeat inside the briefing room because they simply don't care about that criticism.
All right, Caitlin Collins, thank you very much. And we'll...
What year is it? Nobody apologizes for memes anymore, Caitlin. No one apologizes for memes. In fact, Caitlin, what happens to you is that you get the sombrero now. Now, Well, this is just the way of the world. Kate Land will now receive the sombrero. Please, Klein, will you bless the audience with the Kate Land comments? It's very offensive. Okay, it's very offensive. How dare you? Truly, how dare you? Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from the absolute and total epicenter of the meme war is the great Senator Mike Lee, who will hopefully elucidate for us exactly how many tears and how much salt is flowing in the Democrat side of the Senate right now over all of this. Mike Lee joins us live now. Senator, welcome back to the program. Very exciting here. Look at us both in our suits. Look at how formal the show has become. Good time to talk about mariachi memes, and an excellent time to talk about sombrero memes and exciting little mustaches that are being placed on pretty much all of the Senate Democrats. Do they like this? Are they going to engage in some type of Stockholm syndrome? Can we expect them to actually start wearing sombreros in the Senate? How bad is this psychological warfare meme operation affecting Democrats in the Senate, Senator?
Oh, no, look, everybody loves it, and tears are flowing, tears of plenty. In the case of Republicans, it's hot tears of joy and laughter. On the Democratic side, they're less joyful. But as a lifelong fan of mariachi music, this is my pleasure. I personally am so grateful that President Trump has reinvigorated Americans' awareness and familiarity with Jarabe Tapatio. That's the name of the tune that they were playing on the first meme and on the second meme. And I'm here for it. This is a great moment in American history.
You're one yourself to share quite a few memes, and you regularly go viral on X to your, what do we have now, ALX base Mike Lee account? We have millions of followers, probably. And so you understand this. You understand that, okay, so cruising to 1 million followers here. For the based Mike Lee account, he's at almost 700,000 subscribers. And that's mainly because you engage like this, Senator. You actually speak to the internet the way it likes to be spoken to. Could you zoom out a little bit and just kind of have maybe a conversation about how important this is to actually win the information war?
In prior eras of American history, political cartoons did the job of communicating effectively, efficiently, with very few, if any, words at all. Political cartoons have created entire political movements. They've led to upheavals. And memes, the meme wars, are basically the present day, modern day, and most effective form of the political cartoon. Donald Trump has mastered the art, as have you. I can't claim to be very good at it, but what I learned, a lot of it I learned from you. I'll put it this way, Benny. I was at a conference once where a guy named Benny Johnson told everybody there, libs can't meme. I've never understood why, but I take it as an article of faith that remains true. And just a moment ago, your last segment proved that it was true. The cat meme, what's that about? That doesn't make any sense. That's maybe vintage 2004. That doesn't work.
When we would email memes to each other.
Yeah.
The reason libs can't meme, Senator, can I answer this rhetorical question?
Please do.
The reason libs can't meme, Senator, is because they are the meme.
They are the meme.
That's why.
Yeah. No, that's right. You've explained that to me before. Or that other person named Benny Johnson. I think you're actually the same guy. Because it was a Turning Point conference. I don't think there were.
I don't recognize him in this fancy studio in this suit. I don't recognize this guy. What a sellout.
That's true. You were wearing like Air Jordans then and some jeans. So I don't know what's going on. You've done corporate. You're not working for Netflix, are you, Benny?
We have canceled our Netflix, and I haven't worn a Nike product since Colin Kaepernick took a knee. I'm telling you, Senator, I burned all my Nike products, and you cannot find me in a Nike product. Anything. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Nothing for Nike. Nothing. When I cancel something, it's canceled for life. I will never sip a Bud Light again, ever. I will never wear a Nike again, ever. Right? That's it. Yeah. They gave $30 million to Colin Kaepernick, dude. And so I'm just not going to do it. Like, I mean, this culture war stuff is personal to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I hear that Bud Light's really cheap now. I've never had a drink in my life, so I don't know what any of it's like. But Apparently, it's really cheap. What if you needed to serve beer to your friends and they were coming over to your house and it was on sale? I mean, why not just buy the Bud Light, put it in another container, and then pour it out in a pitcher, maybe with some ice cubes?
I can tell you've never drank before, Senator, because like you would not want to put ice cubes in Bud Light, and it's already watery enough.
It works with Coke. I don't know why it wouldn't work with.
It looks like they're putting up some examples of based Mike Lee memes. Well. Team, this would be really smart to go find. Okay, let's look at this. Would you agree to drive this car for the rest of your life if doing so would reduce the average global temperature by 1/1000th of a degree? Senator Chris Christie would not fit in that car.
Yeah, well, not everybody would, but that's the point there. I read this book when I was in junior high. It was called The World's Greatest Book of Stupid Questions, and it would ask things like, would you go without eating meat for 2 weeks if by so doing you could stop the clubbing of innocent baby harp seals for 24 hours? It just makes you think.
Yeah, I mean, the answer to that is no, right? Yeah. But there's a lot that stopped, I guess, with the government shutdown. I know that's what you're here to talk about. I would love to actually talk for the next couple hours about memes with you, but let's get to the actual business of what the shutdown is. Right now, the Democrats are losing their minds. Please get me that Hakeem Jeffries versus Jake Tapper ALX, because Hakeem Jeffries had like a panic attack on CNN just a minute ago because even CNN's calling them out, saying you are shutting down the government to give criminal aliens free health care, to give them goodies from the American taxpayer that they didn't fund. They have no right to these things. America can't even afford these things. We can't afford our own health care. And that is what this is about. Can you please confirm or deny that for us? And then we have a fun little Hakeem Jeffries video to react to.
Yeah, look, it is certainly about that. They've got other things in the mix too, but that seems to be their bottom line, without which not element. These guys so badly want to continue to reward and encourage illegal immigration that they're willing to shut down the federal government, knowing as they do now that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs over this, and not just in the furlough sense, but in the layoff sense, because Russ Vought has been dreaming about this since he was 12 and has figured out legal ways to make that happen. They are willing to do all that. So badly do they want to encourage and reward illegal immigration that they're willing to do all of this. Now, this is absolutely absurd. Crime has skyrocketed. Fentanyl deaths have skyrocketed over the last few years since President Otto Penn was in the Oval Office. And they're still wanting to encourage and reward illegal immigration. And they're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice here, having the government shut down and further empowering Donald J. Trump. Man, they must really like illegal immigration a lot. But in a bigger sense, Benny, just think about it this way. Even without using the word government shutdown, what they're saying is we're not willing to fund the government. We won't let you or the House or the president fund anything in the U.S. government. Anything at all. Not the troops, not federal payroll, anything. Unless you're willing to support illegal aliens with free taxpayer-funded health care. Now, it's more taxpayer-funded than free. It's free to them. It's not free to the American people, who are made incrementally poorer and less safe every time Democrats do this in order to encourage and reward illegal immigration. This is inexcusable. And that's why, if anything, those memes that are coming out against them, they're mild. When you look at what they're actually doing to the American people, to the rule of law, to our system of government, those are mild. So they have made their bed. They've got to sleep in it now. In the meantime, they've been encouraged in all this because they have been conditioned for years, oftentimes, sometimes with the help of squishy Republicans who should know better. But they've also been conditioned by the mainstream media to believe that they're not capable of sin. They're not capable of error. And that every time anything happens in government that doesn't make sense, that they blame the Republicans. And so if they live in this echo chamber where that's all they hear, And it's as though they're completely lacking in self-awareness as to what's actually happening and the absurdity of what they're doing to Americans.
Senator, I know that it is your obligation to say, yes, of course we should fund our troops. Yes, there are absolute emergency services and things that must be funded, and that's bad. So let's take that and move it off the table, right? That they're like necessities and our armed forces and so on. There are some good functionaries of government, and we should fund those. Okay, so let's take that conversation off the table. We don't have to couch our conversation like that. I want to put up this truth from President Trump, and then I want to talk about what you just said about Russ Vogt. Because this may provide an opportunity for Republicans to actually like truly take a meat cleaver to some of the more banal and parasitic areas of government. And there's nobody who loves that conversation more than you, Senator. And so here's President Trump saying, Russ Vogt of Project 2025 fame, like if you were to write a horror film for Democrats, this would be how you would start the script. Is set to determine which of many of the Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. And I can believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so this may be their way of wanting to quietly make America great again. Thanks, Dems. The floor is yours, Senator. What could be potentially a really good result of this opportunity that Democrats have given the White House?
First of all, I want to hand it to our commander-in-chief, our chief executive, President Donald J. Trump. He is assuming the best to bring out the best in the Democrats, assuming, hey, maybe they've joined the cause to make America great again. Maybe they too want to drain the swamp. Maybe they too are rooting for Russ Vogt, who has been dreaming of this moment his entire life. And actually was brought to this earth, I believe, for this exact moment in time. Russ Vogt is a freaking genius. He knows the federal budgetary process inside, outside, backwards, upside down, you name it. And President Trump, because this is the kind of guy he is wanting to give credit where credit's due. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you for helping us trim the size of the federal payroll. Thank you, Democrats, for helping us show Americans that a lot of the federal government doesn't need to be there. In fact, we'd be a lot better off without it. Thank you for thanking Democrats, that the Democrats are willing, I believe, to help us reverse the march, the bad death march we've been on since April 12th, 1937, when FDR coerced the Supreme Court of the United States to amend the Constitution without going through the constitutional amendment process. Dramatically expanded the size, scope, reach, and cost of the U.S. government, reaching into labor, manufacturing, agriculture, mining, health, safety, and welfare, areas that have always been the purview of the states and localities. All of a sudden, he made them federal. At that exact moment, Benny, at that exact moment, Congress, newly vested with all this power, was afraid of having to do all the work and face the accountability from all the new laws we'd have to make, so we started outsourcing it. We shall have fair labor practices. We give that to the NLRB. Fair trade practices. We give that to the FTC. Decades later, we shall have clean air. We give that to the EPA. They then make most of our laws, 100,000 pages of new laws a year that have never been voted on by a single member of the House or the Senate. So they've disrupted both the vertical protection of federalism and the horizontal protection of separation of powers in one fell swoop back in 1937. We've been on the death march ever since then. And finally, Russ Vogt and Donald Trump, with the help of the Democrats, thank you, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they're helping us get there. This is how we restore constitutionally limited government in a bipartisan moment.
Fascinating. We heard that 100,000 federal employees have been effectively given pink slips now. This was the DOGE deadline. And what may happen next? Obviously, the federal government is the single largest employer in this country and in the world, with 5 million, close to 5 million total employees. They dwarf Amazon, which only has 1.6, and Walmart, that only has 1.1. The federal government is 5 times larger than these massive companies, massive, very successful companies. We asked the chat yesterday, like, what's more efficient, Amazon or the federal government? And what, who would you rather fill a pothole in your road, right? And things have gotten out of control. Also, the salaries of federal employees is obscene. The average salary is $108,000, Senator. The average private sector salary is $65,000. So it's 40% more for the salaries for a workforce that, in my personal experience, I lived in DC for 15 years, is very inefficient, very slovenly, very entitled, extremely arrogant, and not willing to do work. And this has just been my experience seeing federal, the largesse of federal employment. Not all, but the largesse of it. So what could we potentially be seeing here? Could you give us like, instead, could you zoom in on like raw numbers? Like could Russ vote? Could this be an opportunity for them to like actually cut 500,000 federal jobs that are redundant?
I don't know, and I don't believe that Russ Vogt has released the total number that could possibly be cut with this. But let me frame it this way. First of all, if we were operating under the Constitution, my copy of the Constitution says that the executive power of the U.S. government shall be vested in a president of the United States. And by having that power, I believe that necessarily extends to his ability to fire any and every executive branch employee. Keep in mind, nearly all of the federal government's employees are within the executive branch. We got a handful in the legislative branch, handful in the judicial branch, but it's no comparison to the executive branch. Article 2 of the Constitution gives the president that power, and I believe that, taken to its logical conclusion, properly interpreted, Article 2 gives the president of the United States the power to fire any and every executive branch employee, with the sole exception of the vice president, only because the vice president is independently elected, is elected alongside the president. And so we can't fire that person, but everybody else he can. But there are federal statutes that have been on the books for about a century, creating this career civil servant protection. It says that he can't technically do that. But Russ Vogt has done his research on this and believes, with good authority, with the assistance of some very good lawyers at the White House, that the president has expanded power during a shutdown to deal with the extraordinary budgetary demands that you take on during a shutdown. So, I believe potentially this could be in the hundreds of thousands of employees that could be laid off. Whether the White House will, in fact, go that far, I don't know. But I will say it this way. I'm so glad you pointed out the payroll difference between Walmart and Amazon on the one hand and the U.S. government on the other hand. Keep in mind, you can't buy Doritos from the U.S. government. You can't buy a bike or a skateboard or a gallon of milk. And so it's not like we're producing things. We employ a lot more people who are, doing the opposite of producing economic value to the U.S. government. There are exceptions to this, of course. We've got the military and a number of things, but a lot of this stuff, the American people would probably be better off in the long run if the government were a much smaller shadow of its former self. And that's where I think the Democrats are taking us. And for that, I thank them.
We'll see how it works out. Any prediction as to when the government shutdown will end?
All right. So I'm an outlier on this. People have been asking me. I believe this one lasts at least 3 weeks.
Really?
Could be longer.
Wow.
It's been a long time since I've seen this much sort of determination on both sides of the aisle. Now, what's odd to me is that the Democrats have come up with an offer that is unacceptable. It failed to get agreement of any Republicans because it was built to fail. It was designed to fail. I believe they wanted this shutdown. What I don't quite understand is why, other than the fact that certain legislative leaders who may have been featured wearing sombreros lately are afraid of their own base, and they want to appear like they're fighting. But this is absurd. We're never going to go for what they're demanding. So this one, that's why I predict it'll last at least 3 weeks.
3 weeks? That's going to be a brutal battle, actually. That's going to be quite a long government shutdown.
Indeed.
Probably one of the longer ones in recent memory. Wow. It's going to be scorching for Democrats. I listened to the vast majority of the polling. The American people clearly blame the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party blames the Democrat Party for this. This is going to be it's going to be brutal for them. There's going to be and they've lost the messaging war already, obviously. So we'll see.
It's what happens when you can't meme.
That's what happens when you can't meme. Okay. Quickly here to kids who can meme and kids who love memes in Utah, Turning Point USA event. Utah State University is here, and you were at it, and it was an incredible event, and the crowd was just absolutely rowdy. We have some of the images here of just what I think was close to 7,000 people showing up in defiance of terrorism. I think would be the right way to say this. What was it like in the room center?
All right, lest I be accused of stolen valor, I was virtually present. I spoke to the group via video connection. I was not able to be there because that was the same night the government was shutting down. I had to be here for votes. So recorded my video and sent it there. But I talked to a number of friends who were there. They said it was amazing. It was electric. It was fantastic. The audience participated well. They asked great questions, and a lot of good exchanges of information.
What was your message?
My message was we've got to continue forward. And I, of course, paid tribute to our friend Charlie. This whole the last few weeks have been really just saddening, devastating. I was a huge fan of Charlie's, and as I know you were. I remember just a few weeks ago when Charlie got both of these events, the event held earlier this week at Utah State, and the event that ended tragically on September 10th. He called me a few weeks ago to tell me about both events, and he said, "Mike, I want you both there. I want you at both events. Please be there." And I said, "I will be there if I possibly can, but scheduled to be voting on both of those occasions. It depends on what's on the floor and whether my vote is needed." It ended up being needed on both occasions, but absolutely a devastating loss. And what happened on September 10th, that's just a couple miles from where Sharon and I live in Provo. And stuff like this doesn't happen there. It's the safest place in the world, or at least it was until September 10th. And can't believe he's gone. Can't believe we're here. But the message there, and my message moving forward, will keep being that we're down a Charlie Kirk. And when you need one of those, nothing else will do.
Yes.
But now that we're down a Charlie Kirk, we've got to create 10 million new Charlie Kirks. People who will move forward with the same positive enthusiasm, the same happy warrior mentality, and reclaim the greatness that is this country. And encourage people, as Charlie consistently, tirelessly did, that there's a better way to live. And that was not at all limited to politics. That was only part of it.
Do you have any updates on what actually happened? Yeah, is there anything that you can give us? Like, I know that there's been, it's just such a strange and dark and peculiar thing. And I mean, Utah, as you said, like, this doesn't happen in Utah, right? It's Utah, like, of all places, like, for a guy to be living with his transgender furry, like, boyfriend and some type of, some type of insane arrangement with the text messages and everything. I mean, I talked with Cash and Dan, at Charlie's memorial, and that's, they said it's just messed up.
It really is. I talk to Cash and Dan all the time. I spoke to Cash again last night. Obviously, they're continuing to investigate. It does not appear to those investigating it that there were other shooters, as many have speculated. I don't think it's clear yet whether, to what extent, there may have been other people who helped coordinate, who helped maneuver, arrange for it. But they're continuing to investigate, and I'm sure they will keep us updated.
All right. Well, yeah, we've this is strange, man. We've looked into some of these groups, the militant queers of Salt Lake City. So yeah, like, it's like, what's going on in Utah, man? Like, there's like some of these people like mass deleting their accounts, It seems guilty as hell. They're traveling to Cuba to like work with. It's like, I'm not saying there's necessarily a connection, but I guess I just didn't know how radical that element had gotten in Utah itself. And
sometimes this happens. I mean, sometimes in a fairly conservative state like Utah, you will have those who are not conservative who want to go in the opposite direction. A lot of Bernie bros in Salt Lake City and a few other parts of Utah. The Democrats there tend to be very, very liberal Democrats. And again, but what we're being told by the investigators is that there was only one shooter. We don't know much beyond that, but they're continuing to look for who else might have been involved in one way or another, indirectly or otherwise.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that the boyfriend knew absolutely nothing about this. I refuse to believe that. Yes, utterly implausible. Hey, that time you found me engraving all these bullets, like it just seems utterly implausible. And people get radicalized, and the left is radicalizing at a consistent, militant, and terroristic rate. And I'm very glad that the Trump administration is investigating that and cracking down. I want to end on a high note. I know there's just been a lot of dark news out of Utah. I want to end on a high note. My team has made something for you. Please don't be offended, and please don't have your team ban you ever appearing on the show ever again. We apologize for this. This is made out of love, and it just happens to be hot right now, right? Just happens to be hot. Also, we tried AI, and AI didn't work as well. This is what it looked like when we tried to do Mike Lee mariachi AI. You're like kind of juggling the mariachis with three hands.
Why do I have three hands? That's impressive, Benny. I like that.
Yep, you're like a Hindu god.
Yep. First of all, not only am I not offended, I consider that a profound compliment. I'm fluent in Spanish. I love mariachi music. My parents actually met in Mexico, and I explained to the president of Mexico a couple of years ago. This is now the former president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, also known as AMLO. I told him I think that entitles me to honorary Mexican citizenship, given that my parents met in Mexico, and he agreed. I haven't gotten a certificate yet, but it could happen, especially after he sees that dank meme. That's awesome. I do want to hear Jaime Tapatio playing in the background. If your team can arrange that, that will make my day.
I mean, AI, like we're working on it. This one, these ones I really like. Klein, put these up. These ones I really like. We're gonna have to perfect it. We're gonna have to get a little better at this.
Oh, okay. This one. That's
photorealistic.
Yeah, that is really good. I've even got good hair there. The miracle of memes.
Yes. I mean, Senator, I'm telling you, you should think about a mustache, bro.
I'm on it.
Okay. This one is, this is pre-Ozempic, Mike Lee.
Okay. Hey, Benny, that feels like a hate crime right there. Yeah. I mean, come on. I've never been that heavy.
Okay. That's what I said. Okay. All right. Enough fun.
I know I've pushed maximum density at times, but that's a degree of corpulence I have yet to achieve in this lifetime.
Yell at your friend Elon Musk, okay? He owns Grok. Yell at him. Not me. I don't own Grok. I'd love to, but I don't own Grok.
A shameless bastard Grok.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. Okay, well, we actually found the song. Maybe Klein can load it up to play us off. Everybody go follow Senator Mike Lee. Thank you for this wide-ranging and fascinating conversation, Senator. Here is the nearly 700,000 subscribers, one of the most followed senators in the entire land. Senator Mike Lee right here, based Mike Lee account. Make sure that you're fighting with the people who are fighting for us. And yeah, it looks like we've actually added mariachi music. Play it. Let's see. Thank you, Senator. We'll see ya. Enjoy the shutdown.
Nos vemos después. Muchas gracias.
Deport this man. All right. See ya.
See you later.
Oh, boys, that was perfect. That was just perfect. That was just perfect. I don't know. There's never been a more, there's never been a cleaner hit in the history of media, except for maybe our next guest, Tim Burchett, who will be joining us, ladies and gentlemen, who's ready to rock right now. Maybe he's joining from a Patriot Mobile device. We'll ask. Patriot Mobile is the only Christian conservative wireless provider in America. We are using it right now. As we said, we travel with it everywhere. We're going to be traveling today, tomorrow. It's going to be a fun ride. Wait till we tell you what we're doing tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Mobile keeps us locked in, loaded on the road. Make sure that we have mobile hotspots, unlimited data plans, international roaming, and internet backup, which is, of course, critical for us in a job like this. Make the switch today. Make sure that you are supporting companies that support you and our worldview of winning. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Benny for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT. Calling a Patriot right now. Congressman Tim Burchett joins the show. Congressman, we promise we will not be putting a sombrero hat on you.
I wish you would. I wish you would. I said under the Burchett administration, it would be Taco Tuesday, mariachi band on the Capitol, and everybody would eat for free. Yet it fell flat. I don't know. Poor marketing. Man, Mike Lee, he's like behind Andy Biggs. He's like my second favorite Mormon. Love it. Love that guy. Great shooter. I love Mormons, man. They vote right, good families, and they're great neighbors. So anyway, love
and
you.
And a good sense of humor, like an absolutely excellent sense of humor.
They do.
As very few. I mean, you could really count on one hand the number of senators that we could like pull the whole like mariachi meme music and everything with, and have them just roll with it and dance. Like
they'd get all offended and or they'd have to ask one of their aides to explain to them what that was. They're 150 years old.
So, as somebody who's a deep appreciator of meme culture, meme warfare, of Mexican food, I know this. You have some good Mexican food in your district.
Yep.
I look forward to going there and having dinner with you at one of the. Is it a gas station, Mexican gas station, like a filling station?
We call it the Mexon. It's actually Don Jose's. It's a Mexican restaurant attached to an Exxon. So, as they say, you can get gas, but I never use that. I don't. Yeah, childish.
Okay, so the memes are hilarious. They're very funny. They mean something because Democrats are shutting down the government in order to give criminal aliens access to the U.S. Treasury once again. And they're losing their minds over it. And as somebody who I guess, like, we've known each other for a while. You just have a good sense of humor. You don't seem to be offended by anything. What's your advice to Democrats over this? Because they've decided that they're going to react by being offended and calling everything racist again. They don't, I think, understand what year it is.
I get over it. Get out from behind Chuck Schumer's skirt right now and find out what the heck's going on in this country, because people are upset with them. And, I have a theory on all this. And I heard J.D. Vance was even talking the same thing. I put it out a while back in my very weak X account, as the 435th most powerful member of Congress. I put this thing out and I had 1.5 million views. And I basically just broke it down. I said, Schumer is looking in his dadgum rearview mirror, and what does he see back there? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or as I just call her, Cortez. And he knows he's got to get that far left base, which he has lost, because he's probably not a communist. He's just a left winger. He just whatever he is to be elected. And he's looking in New York City, the once greatest city in the world that our friend Donald J. Trump helped make even greater. And what's he seeing? He's seeing a communist is going to win that mayor's position. And he knows he doesn't have the communist vote. Who does? AOC. So he's got to go as far left, take our tax dollars, shut the government down, take $50 billion from rural health care. I mean, it's a little God-fearing woman up here in Appalachia can't get to a doctor she's having a baby, and he's going to pull her health care to give it to a dadgum illegal. And I think the Democrats, you're going to see them start peeling off. Let's talk compromise. Let's talk compromise, you know? And then of course, Hakeem Jeffries in the House, as we say in the South, bless his heart, he's out of the picture. There is no negotiating with the House. We've already done our job. We voted to keep the dadgum government open. And they want to add 1.5 trillion back in. What do they want to fund? Transgender surgeries overseas, these militant environmental programs overseas, the border situation, DEI. They want to fund these liberal so-called news outlets. NPR, I asked them in the committee, and because I heard it with my own ears, about a conversation on one of their shows on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, I literally about wrecked my daughter's dually pickup truck in a ditch. I was like, I must have had an outer body experience. I don't know why I was monitoring NPR at the time. And they said, "What's your definition of propaganda?" And they said, Lee Greenwood singing "God Bless the USA." So I asked the head of NPR that, and she said, "Well, they don't speak. They don't speak for us." I said, "They don't speak for you." That's like these colleges and universities keep saying how these professors don't speak for us, you know. And that's the problem we've seen. You know, the Charlie Kirk effect. I mean, everybody's going crazy over all this liberal nonsense in the country. Finally, I'm sorry, we had to lose our friend Charlie Kirk. I know he was a friend of yours, and he was a friend of mine. But the reality is, it's like kudzu. I don't know if you know what kudzu is, but it's a weed. It was brought here during like one of the international expositions. Anytime we try to play God, it never works out. It's a very invasive species weed. And they brought it here. They said, cows will eat it. It'll protect hillsides. Well, the cows won't eat it if you put a gun to their dadgum head, and you can't kill it. They napalm it. They do everything. And what do? They cut it off. And then what happens next year? It comes back in 5 different places. And that's what you're seeing on your colleges and campuses. They're seeing how we're attacking them. They're going underground. They're figuring out what to do. They'll come back bigger and better. We've got to get to these colleges and universities where they do the hiring. That's the people we need to get rid of. We got it. These legislators. I mean, I was a legislator. I get it. I guess technically I still am a federal legislator. University will call you in and they'll have a big dinner and all the beautiful people will be there telling you how great you are. And then, you know, then you think, wow, this university is doing a great job. And then all of a sudden, you know, you've got majors in lesbian studies. Now, what the heck are you going to do with that job? Colleges, you know.
Go work at Netflix.
Yeah.
And go work at Netflix.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, that's right. What say you, Congressman, about what's happening with Netflix right now? It's quite a interesting cancellation campaign being run by Elon Musk. And I think for good reason, because this is a totally morally indefensible what they've done when it comes to sexualizing children. And it seems like something that perhaps might require a little bit of oversight from Congress, because you can't be doing this. I mean, you can't show pornography to kids. Obviously, there are a lot of laws against this kind of stuff. And I think that there should, quite frankly, be some penalties when it comes to companies that are overtly putting sexually explicit content into children's programming for the purpose of having the kids absorb it when the parents aren't watching, right? Because the way Netflix works is it's just autoplay, right? And a lot of parents, they got to do their taxes. They put their kids down on the couch and they just let it go. And Netflix knows exactly what they're doing. There's a definition of propaganda, and it's also the definition of a sexual exploitation.
Absolutely. And one thing we learned during COVID, when we started looking over our kids' shoulders, there it is. You know, and they tried to make it out, oh, it's an interracial couple. That's what you're upset about. I don't care if they're both unicorns. I don't think it's right for these cartoons to be showing a kid they're trying to transition, who's a little boy into a little girl. It just, look, you got tomboys and you got effeminate little boys, and you let them grow up, and they grow up to be citizens. And my mama was a tomboy. She flew an airplane during the Second World War, but she was a beautiful, loving mama, and she was wonderful. Her and my dad were madly in love. And, you know, it just drives me crazy over this thing. And I always remember in economics, though, I had a professor, one time I was paying attention because I didn't do too well. His name was Tony Spiva, and he was world renowned. But he talked about casting your dollar votes. That's where we got to start realizing what we got to do.
Yeah.
Cast our dollar votes elsewhere. Pull the plug. When somebody's advertising something, when the Super Bowl is having a devil worshiper who cusses our president, we need to, the sponsors of those, if it's a car dealership or a truck dealership, I don't care if you go to church with them, call them and say, we ain't buying any more. Y'all are sponsoring this stuff. And they're going, oh, that's our corporate people. No, we're not going to do it. We're going to bring you to your knees because we do not support this. And that's what we need to do with Netflix. The parent companies, the corporate people, that's where we need to get it. And we're very short-lived. You know, I remember 9/11, and I remember the day after, you know, you couldn't get an American flag anywhere. I mean, everybody was buying, everybody hand over their heart during the pledge. But you go to ball games sometimes shortly after that, and people are standing around. People aren't standing up. They're not taking their hat off. They're not putting their hand over their heart. We got to stay in this fight. This fire that Charlie Kirk lit in this country, we've got to ignite it, and we've got to keep pushing. And yeah, we're all puffed up over a few college professors and somebody losing their job. But guess what? They're going to show up somewhere else, and they're going to be more refined. It's just like when we send a criminal to jail, they don't get reformed. They turn out to be a better criminal when they come out.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought Charlie there because he was always about culture war victories, and it was constant. Every single conversation that we had at Turning Point USA, and I worked with him for 10 years, was about culture war victories. And yes, registering Republican voters is critically important. Yes, making sure that Republicans win is critically important. But what actually affects the politics of the nation is the culture. And so the end goal was to be able to pluck a Jimmy Kimmel, show out and say, no, you're just going to absolutely be punished for what you said. For the first time in the history of Hollywood, one of these arrogant liars, the high priests of the diseased temples of Hollywood, we actually affected their career. We are actually able to take them off air. And they lacked the cultural power to defend Jimmy Kimmel. They lacked the institutional power to defend Jimmy Kimmel, the regulatory power to defend Jimmy Kimmel. We were really able to show how weak they are right now. And I'm very glad that this Netflix cancellation is happening because it's the same people and they're pushing the same type of ideology. I don't know if you have a Netflix. I doubt it. But do you think that perhaps, you do have a pretty high position in Congress, meaning a lot of people listen to you. You have a lot of followers. You get a lot of love. Would you be in favor of the Netflix leadership being asked to sort of testify over this radical sexual ideology?
Every time we're on, I always say I'm going to do something that makes news. Here's what I want to do on this one, because the First Amendment and all that is involved in it, of course. Let's get on it. I'm going to follow up with my folks after we get off. I'm going to call them and say, which committee can they be brought in front of? Is it who I think what we have to look at, who regulates the FCC, and then since it's cable, does that count? I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but yeah, they need to be brought in. We need to find out what their agenda is and why they're pushing this stuff. Because from what I understand, that little cartoon is apparently the #1 rated cartoon they have on their show. I haven't seen it. It looks kind of like claymation or something. I'm not really sure. But,
yeah,
I said something about it, and immediately the left pounded on me and said something about, oh, you're just upset because it's a racial family. And I know some gay folks, and they are getting a little more ticked off about the transgender situation because they're getting lumped in. That's not their fight. I don't think that's their fight. They need to pull off all that garbage, and because they got their win, they got their marriage thing going, and nobody cares. Everybody's looking for a fight, and nobody. I live in East Tennessee, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. And just live your own dadgum life. I always tell people, don't put it in my face, and don't tax me, and that's all I care about.
Right.
But that right there is recruiting. That is grooming. That is the worst of the worst. Because they're taking young minds and they know they can do that. And there's some kind of evil, demonic thing going on in this country with this transgender thing. I know you're a believer, but I won't go into too much detail, but I had a person came in my office and said that their child was transitioning, and I was causing them to lose their health care. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And he said, well, you want to cut out so they can get their drugs and get this butcher surgery that they want to do. And I said, nothing further from the truth. I said, when you're an adult, it's your business. I think it's a mental illness. And then I said, how did they get diagnosed that they were whatever, a man trapped in a woman's body or a woman trapped in a man's body, whatever it was? And they said, oh, they self-diagnosed on the computer. And I was like, exactly. I said, the Chinese and the devil are working hand in hand. I'm not sure which is which, but that is exactly what is going on. It's a demonic thing. It's a power of suggestion. When I was growing up, you never heard about this stuff. It was such a rarity. My dad was a dean at UT, University of Tennessee, dean of student conduct. And I remember he brought something home, and it was a guy who wanted to come speak to they turned him down back then. Now they would probably kill the fatted calf for him. I don't know. But this guy was turned into a woman or whatever, and it didn't look like much of a man. He sure didn't look like much of a woman. And he was wanting to come speak at the university, and just how absurd we thought that was. And my dad always warned us. He said, what they do is, they throw it out at you, just the farthest realm, and then they pull back, and then they take a little bit. Each time they take a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And that's where we're at as a country. We're just wide open on this stuff, and we can't allow it. We can't allow it. It is complete indoctrination, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, there are decency laws in this country. You can't expose little kids to this kind of stuff. You can't do it. That there are laws that
local
exist.
Standards that apply.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It can't be allowed in the state of Tennessee, for instance. Like there was pornographic material in libraries, and they were able to get that ripped out for the exact same reason. It was against the law. And so
I'll tell you how absurd it is. Tennessee, I know you probably need to give me the hook, but that's okay. I don't care. I'll be late to my next meeting. I was mayor of Knox County, and we had a person had gone to jail for child molestation that was visiting our children's libraries that are open to the public. And I said, ban them. They said, well, boss, the Constitution, the ACLU. I said, ban them. I said, I hope the ACLU sues me on an election year, because there's no judge in this state at the time that would tolerate that kind of garbage. And because they go to prison, they're not cured. They come out and they're a better refined child molester. And we did it, and ACLU did not sue me. So, but I just, they'll push the envelope every dadgum time, and we're gutless. We are gutless.
Right. Well, we look forward to that action. We know that this is a man of action right here from the great state of Tennessee. And because we are such massive fans of Congressman Tim Burchett, and because we don't want to end on a dark note, even though it's something that we must fight. You must be able to stare at evil to defeat it. You mustn't make peace with evil. You can't unify with people. I want you dead. And so it's very important to have these conversations. We do want to end on a light note.
No compromise.
We do want to end on a light note, and my team has created Mariachi Tim Burchett. So
is that me or is that Senator Lee? I'm gonna take a picture of it.
So here we go. Here we go. This is what our team has created. Klein, let's play it. This is the dadgum Mariachi. This is great.
You guys are incredible.
This. Do we have dadgum? Is dadgum actually in the mariachi music? This is amazing. Let's listen. Nice. We also have
the best, Benny. Come to Knoxville, brother. We'd love to have you.
Put a couple more of them up real fast as we sign off. Everybody go follow Tim Burchett. Obviously, we have just a few more for you. There we go. There's one.
Can't tell you how proud I am, Benny, of you and your success. I pray for your success, your safety, brother, and your beautiful family.
I like this one. You should think about a mustache. I mean, you should think about it. Some of these are really photorealistic. It's got just one more Klein. I know we got a few in here.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Here's you at your Cheez-It party.
Yeah. Go back to that last one. I want to get a picture of that again. Can you give it the last one? That was my Christmas card. My 15-minute Christmas card.
This should be your Christmas card. Everybody follow the great Tim Burchett, ladies and gentlemen. You know to do that. One of our absolute favorites.
Thank you, Benny. You're the best, brother. And I'm really proud of you, what you're stepping in for Charlie. Last thing he said to me, we were on the floor, is it was about 2:53 in the morning. He called me and we were working on the big, beautiful deal. And because I'd left my boat open, I was working on some folks and we've been working with the president and the speaker. And he said, "What's your plan?" And I always thought Charlie Kirk always had a plan. And he had his ultimate plan was to be in heaven with Jesus. I don't think he meant to be there that soon, but that's where he is right now. Right. So I'm proud that I know him, and I'm proud of the work he's done. And I'm incredibly proud of you stepping in the gap, brother. You're a good man.
Nobody replaces Charlie, but we can all take from Charlie's life and say that man lived with energy and purpose, and to our very best, to a man, and with a full heart, live with extra energy and purpose for Charlie. And so that's what we're going to do. We know that you do that, Congressman. Everybody follow the Congressman. 350,000 followers here. Fight with the people who are fighting for us. Godspeed, Congressman.
Thank you, Benny.
Holy moly, meetings day and night, up and down, all over the place. And we're going to keep traveling. We're going to a new city tomorrow, and we're going to be doing a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Blackout Coffee will be there for us, making sure that we are highly caffeinated, energized, and ready to go, ready to lock and load. And Blackout Coffee is the American coffee company that powers our program, and that makes sure that we have the energy to go fight the communists. And you must have that energy as well. Small batch premium coffee made right here in the U.S. of A. I know the owner. I know the people who work there at their beautiful 64,000-foot facility in Florida. Man, what a great company. Get Blackout Coffee today. Drink Blackout Coffee. If you believe in hard work and American values, this is the coffee for you. It actually tastes like coffee and will power your day. blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the code Benny for 20% off your first order. blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're off. We are so thankful for our friends at Fox News for providing us this studio, for giving us this opportunity to have a roaring good time with you this morning. We love you. We care about you. And, well, we'll never quit. We'll never quit. We have The Rock. Who is The Rock? Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Our verse of the day from Lamentations. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go. Old Testament. The Lord is good to those who hope in him, to those who seek him. God doesn't require much. Just hope in God. Seek God. Do your best. It's not about you being perfect. Christ was perfect. You will never be perfect. Kneel before Christ. Christ center your life and hope in God. And in that, you can have the victory. Just remember, in the end, we win. It's your boy Benny, live from New York. Very excited about it. God bless you. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your Thursday. We'll see you.
This is how your Netflix movies are made. The creamy poop of a mystic unicorn. Totally clean, totally cool, and soft served straight from a sphincter. They're good at pooping.
Where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.